Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the June 9th, 2026 regular school board meeting. We'll call that to order a little late, 10:03. And this meeting, we have the district vision with Mr. Cho.
Thank you very much. The school district of Manatee County will be an exemplary student-focused school system that develops lifelong learners to be globally competitive. And with that, I have the invocation. Ms. Crawford, if you want to come up, Gary Crawford, Director, CEO of Galatians 2, if you want to give us your invocation, we'd very much appreciate it.
Very much so.
We all want to stand?
Father, in the
Please
name of
stand.
Son Jesus,
If
I am
everyone could
thankful
stand, please.
to be able to come into your throne room on behalf of this gathering today. And I ask, Father, that you would release three things here. First of all, a spirit of encouragement over this board, the administration, faculty, and students for the things that you've done this year in the school system that we can all call good. Father, also for a spirit of wisdom to be over them as they deal with and face matters that are ongoing in the school system management, that you would bless them from the wisdom that comes from above. And finally, Father, as we find ourselves between two school years, a spirit of refreshing would come in. That these short 2 months, as we end one and begin another, would be a time where they would be refreshed in their spirit with decisions, their family life, and the things that they carry on from day to day. And also, Father, I'd just like to ask a blessing on the veterans behind me. Thank you for their service. I pray a blessing on their post for the men and women who have served this country faithfully over the years. And I just thank you in the name of Jesus for this time. Amen.
Amen. Thank you so much. You may be seated. Yeah, we are. Okay. Yeah.
Read the person and
Right.
Oh, right on, of course.
It's okay. It's up and down, up and down. Okay.
and then we'll sit back.
And with our the new tradition that we have done for the pledge, I will now turn it over to Superintendent Breslin to introduce our veteran who will be doing our pledge.
Thank you, Madam Chair. We are honored today to welcome United States Army veteran David Daly to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Retired Army First Sergeant Daly began his service at just 17 years old and dedicated more than 2 decades to serving our country with honor through multiple assignments and deployments while in the Army Reserves. He continues that service as Post Commander of Veterans of Foreign Wars Post 12055, supporting veterans and giving back to the community. That includes our school district. Please join me in thanking Dave for his service and welcoming him to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Thank you, sir.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You may be seated.
Sir, may I have just a second back up here? Thank you so much again for your service to our country and to our district.
Thank you so
This
much.
was flown over the U.S. Capitol at the request of the Honorable Vern Buchanan, Member of Congress, and it is our gift to you.
Thank you so much.
Thank
We
you.
greatly appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you all so much. I do want to say to the gallery and to the public that the board will be taking a recess to attend an event, a community event. So that's probably going to be around 11:15 or so, and we'll do lunch as well, and then we'll come back and resume the regular board meeting. But I wanted to at least put that out there so you'll know, because it is time sensitive that we do that. Now I'm looking for, we amended the agenda to include some of the presentations that we're having today and then updated the minutes from other items that we included in the amendments, that's minor ones. So now I'm looking for approval of the agenda.
So move.
Second.
So I have an approval by Mr. Kennedy, a second by Mr. Choate. Am I
Yep,
correct or
other way.
backwards?
Flip.
Okay,
Flip.
couldn't hear quite
No
well.
worries.
That's all right. That's okay. So any discussion on the approval of the agenda?
No.
Okay, if everyone could please vote. Okay. and that passes 5-0. Thank you very much, board members, for that. And approval of the minutes, superintendent.
The superintendent recommends approval of the minutes from the April 28, 2026 school board meeting and the May 5, 2026 school board workshop.
So moved.
I'll second.
Okay, I have a motion by Mr. Kennedy, a second by Ms. Felton. Any discussion on that? And if we could put the vote up. And that passes
5-0.
5-0. We're waiting. There we
Sorry.
go. That's all right. It's all good. We just came from a meeting, so. Next, we're moving on to celebrations, one of the favorite parts of our meetings. Ms. Carson.
Good morning, School Board Chair, Vice Chair, School Board members,
Morning.
Superintendent. Today, it's my honor to help us recognize the members of VF Post 12055 for their contributions to our students, our schools, and strengthening our community. Clearly, even though they've all completed their military assignments and obligations, they are simply still reporting for duty every day. It's a pleasure to introduce the Post Commander to share more about their contributions. Post Commander Daly.
Thank you very much. School board members and guests, it's an honor for VFW Post 12055 to be here today. It truly is an amazing thing that our post has been able to do in this East County. Just to give you a quick rundown on what the VFW is, we are the oldest veteran organization in America today. In order to become a member of the VFW, you must have served in combat, hostile fire pay, imminent danger pay, campaign ribbon. That's how you become a member. Our post was started on August 16, 2006. We're getting ready to celebrate our 20th anniversary.
Oh, nice.
We started out with 59 members to our post and has grown to 140. We do not have our own building. Our monthly meetings are held at the East County Fire Rescue Administration Building behind the fire station between 64 and 70 or 64 and 70 off Lakewood Ranch. So any exposure we get is a plus for our post. This allows us to use nearly 100% of the donations that we receive go to our programs. So we have very tiny bit of administration fees. We are currently or have been involved with the following Manatee County schools: Braden River High School, Lakewood Ranch High School, Hale Middle School, Jane Middle School, Nolan Middle School, Freedom Elementary, and Williams Elementary. We have conducted flag etiquette classes, how to properly fold the flag, and our Veterans in School program, where veterans talk about their service with students. We assist with the Freedom Elementary Let Freedom Ring ceremony each year, and made a donation to provide support and the purchase of Coach Wilson's bell that they have there at the courtyard. We donate to the JROTC Military Ball every year. We help pay for the U.S. branch bronze plaques that are in the end zone at the Braden River High School football field. We raise the flag at every Braden River home football game, and we take part in the JROTC program judging as well. Our three largest programs that the Post does through the VFW are our Voice of Democracy essay contest, which is for not seniors, but high school. Our Patriots Pen essay contest for middle school students. And we have our own Leo Parisian and George Cummings scholarships that we award out each year to Braden River and Lakewood Ranch High School cadets. I've gone back and I've tallied up the money that the Post has donated over the years to these three programs, and I was quite surprised. Our VOD and Patriots Pen program started in 2008. All students that participate in this receive a certificate of appreciation from the Post. The winning essay, they receive $100 each in a plaque. We have had 199 winners, totaling $19,900. Scholarship started in 2008 with the Leo Parisian Scholarship at $500. In 2015, we added a second scholarship, the George Cummings Scholarship, to our program. This year, we have awarded 6 $2,000 scholarships to Braden River High School and Lakewood Ranch High School. The grand total from 2008 to today, we've given back more than $74,000 in scholarships to the students of this county.
Wow.
We also awarded a special scholarship in 2018. On September 15th, 2018, Post members Dan and Rebecca Powers lost their son in an automobile accident. Matthew attended Lakewood Ranch High School and was in the band. In his honor that year, we renamed our scholarship the Matthew Powers Follow Your Dream Scholarship and handed out those scholarships that year. We raised most of our funds through fundraisers in East County. We hand out the Buddy Poppies each year during the Memorial Weekend and the Veterans Day weekend at several public stores. We now have Braden River High School JROTC cadets and Lakewood Ranch High School JROTC cadets supporting us, and they come out and help us. We're all getting older, and they can stand out there a lot longer than we can, so we're blessed to have them. We look forward to continuing our relationship with Manatee County, the students, educating them on patriotism, the importance of our veterans, and the love for our amazing country. Thank you for having me here today and recognizing our post, Veterans Foreign Wars, Post 12055. God bless America.
Thank you so much. Picture.
Sherry, can we have a group photo with the veterans?
Yes, please
Okay,
do.
Thank you.
Please do.
Senator Daly?
Thank you so much, John. Thank you.
You just have that look.
It's always nice when we can bring people from the community and share what they've done for our schools and the different programs that they support. I didn't realize they did all of that with the JROTC, so it's kind of cool to hear a little more detail than we typically just hear about. So, okay, moving on to item number 8. There are no public commenters signed up, and we'll go on to item number 9, which are reports and presentations that were added, and that will go to Mr. Jensen.
Perfect. Good morning, Chair Spray, board members, Superintendent Breslin. It's nice to be with you this morning. And I'm here to kind of give you an overview and kind of the raw results that have come out of our spring testing season now that we've reached the end of the school year. So you've kind of sat with me over the course of the school year and heard presentations how our PM1 testing went at the beginning of the year in September, how our mid-year progress monitoring went after the new year, and now PM3, that's when the results really are factored into all the state and school accountability formulas, and that's the results I'm here to go over with you today. And as a reminder, we have our kind of K through 2 testing, which happens in the Renaissance platform. That's the STAR testing. We have our 3 through 10 testing, which happens, that's called FAST in ELA and math. And then we have our EOCs, our end of course exams that happen in a lot of our high school and middle school subject areas. So we'll take a look at all of that today. And just as a reminder, all of this factors into our school grades and our district grade. And these are all the different dimensions that those grades are based upon. So you have buckets for reading, third grade reading at elementary. You have learning gains and lower quartile learning gains. You have the same for math. You have science and social studies. And then you have acceleration for both middle school and high school. Essentially how students are accessing kind of above level coursework and opportunities. And then you have your graduation rate for high school. And you can see that depending on what type of school you are, there's a different number of total points. And then as a district, we're graded on all the points in the aggregate and a percentage of all the points.
If I could stop you for a second, did the board get a handout of this presentation? Okay, I've looked.
Yeah, it's behind your agenda.
It's behind the
That's
agenda.
behind it?
This one, the one that we had on the.
Right. Okay, I don't see mine, but that's okay. I'm trying to pull it up on the screen, and I don't see it on the screen either,
You
so.
have the chair agenda, so.
Yeah, I do have the chair agenda.
Yeah, it's not on yours.
Thank you, I did not have that. Thank you. Okay, I'm sorry.
Oh, not a problem at all. And Mr. McCarthy was very helpful. He put all the different assessments that factor into each of these categories there. Just as an added wrinkle of complexity, you know, over the last couple years, there have been some notable changes to how schools and districts are graded and kind of the grading scales for those grades. So each level, depending on whether you're an elementary, a middle, a high, or a school district, they have different scales associated with them. For example, a 62% is an A at an elementary school, 64 at a middle, 65 at a high or a K-8 school, and then the district scale would be 65 for an A as well. Okay. So without further ado, we're going to jump into the results. And they're in the style that you're used to seeing. So you can kind of see the different levels of achievement per exam and then kind of the total achievement for the school district and the total achievement for the state. And here, I think once again, you can see your investment in early literacy paying off.
Yep.
And the prioritization that this board has placed upon that and our community has placed upon that. This is our pre-K early literacy results. And again, just really wonderful outcomes. And I think when you see how our programs are rated by the state, once they go through that process, like our pre-K programs are scoring off the charts thanks to the leadership of Dr. Halpin and her team, as well as our principals and our teachers in those programs, and of course our students and families working in partnership with schools. It really is, as you can see, paying off, and we're seeing some great early learning results in our community.
And I'm going to just say this too. This is what the direction and vision I've had is you got to start at the bottom level. By the time they get to the first grade, kindergarten, first grade, second grade, we'll have set up that platform for them to succeed by the time the third grade testing comes around. So I am so pleased with that number. And when I saw that, I'm like, oh my goodness, it is paying off. All the efforts that our classroom teachers are doing and the resources we put in there is paying off.
Absolutely.
Good investments.
There's a lot to celebrate in this presentation.
There
And I
is.
think as a school district this year.
Sure, go ahead.
Let me try right there. So, ditto to what you said first. You know, obviously this was something that we as a close board the past several years have made an emphasis on and I think still do on our strategic planning. But this was really started. I'll give some kudos to since he's the veteran on the dais. But it happened. I didn't want to say old. That's veteran. Tenured.
There you go.
It was started really about 17, 18, 19, around that time is when I think the board really looked at and said, early learning, you know, we need to put some emphasis on early learning and now doing what we're doing with the SOAR and 4 and the lab and everything. But one question that I have with the pre-K, and I think we've seen these numbers before, and you're not going to have them right now, but if we could get them, I'd like to see the numbers. So obviously our numbers look phenomenal, 54%. You know, we're crushing the state on that, and these students will eventually be third grade, right?
Right.
In 2-3 years, and so we'll see some of the fruits of our labor, what we're doing with early literacy. But my question is, how many students do we have in Manatees, like with us? Is that including private you know, industry, like, and not just ours. Does this number include that private?
I'll have to
Okay.
follow up with Mr. McCarthy, and we can send you like total enrollees, total test takers.
I
and
just
where
would
they're
love to
testing
see.
from.
I knew you weren't gonna have the answer to that, to those numbers, right? Like, that's not on here. But what I would love to be able to see eventually, and this is again like the tracking and the data. If hypothetically, I'm just gonna use really simple numbers. We have 100 kids in our own, 50 kids outside in private, right? And then we have another 100 kids in the county that don't go to anything pre-K. Everyone's showing up in kindergarten, not all of them, but most of them are showing up in our schools, right? 80% of them are coming to our schools. Some are coming over to the charter schools, of course. I would like to know, like, and this may be really difficult to track, but to be able to tell the parents who aren't having their kids go to pre-K somewhere, whether it's us, private, whatever. Of course, we'd love it to be us because we know, I mean, let's just be honest, we know what we're doing, right? And so I'd love to be able to tell them, instead of having your 2-year-old, your 3-year-old sitting at home, and they could come here into our classrooms and learn, right? Now that's going to maybe put some burden on us to open up more and have more readily available and things like that, right? But that's a good problem to have. So because that's what I think I still think we're missing a good chunk of kids who are not going to the pre-K that could be, should be, and how do we fix that? Ultimately is what the tracking would look at, right? Is how are we communicating to our families that don't have the kids yet? How are we communicating to families that do have kids and not, their kids are not in the pre-K? So, yeah, I mean, it just at some point, if we could get that. It'd be interesting to see the data of how many total kids are pre-K and how many are in our, you know, and I think we have seen some of that before. I just don't have it written down, didn't save it.
We can bring that information,
Okay.
and we can show you as well how many of these students who were in our pre-K this year are matriculating to our kindergarten
Yeah.
classes with our total kindergarten numbers, and then you can see the differential.
Because I do remember we did something like you guys did a presentation like that for us,
Yes.
where it was, these were our kids, and we have data where it was, there are kids in 3rd grade that were our kids in pre-K, all the way through kindergarten, 1st grade, 2nd
All
grade,
the way
3rd grade.
through graduation.
So if it would just be interesting to see, you know, what percentage of kids are out there that are not going to pre-K, whatever it is, and yeah, I mean, if we can get them in somewhere, that's good to do.
I would just, if you don't mind my dialogue, I
Yeah.
don't know how it would be, first of all of our data is based on our schools and charters. I don't think that any of the private sector is calculated in here, so I don't,
No, I know not with the
Right,
passing
right.
numbers, but with total numbers, we can go to early learning
so the state
ELC
knows
and
how
say,
many, right.
yes, we can go to the ELC and say, how many private schools do you all have that have kids in it? We can find that numbers from ELC, and if that number's
Okay.
1,000, I mean, it's gonna be way more than that. But for instance, our Trinity United Methodist Church has a kids daycare pre-K that is through ELC, and they have to do all the things that you have to do to the ELC and get. They have 150 kids, let's say, right?
Right.
So there's how many of those types of schools, pre-Ks out there that are not obviously in our school. Those kids are going to be going to our schools, the majority of them, whether it's charter or public, whatever, traditional public. So we'll be able to find the total number. Now, we don't necessarily know the total number of pre-K eligible kids, right?
Right.
Until they get into the system. So, but we'll be able to know when they come in and sign up in kindergarten, hey, we've got 15,000 kindergartners. Between the private sector and us, we only saw 10,000 of them. Where are those other 5,000? They're why aren't they coming to pre-K? You know,
Right.
That's what I'd like to.
It could be,
See.
yeah. Yeah,
I
we
don't know how
could
to solve
probably-
any of that stuff, but
Yeah.
so how are you guys?
We're-
But it'd be interesting to see.
Yeah.
Absolutely, we can put that together.
Mr. Kennedy.
Yeah, thank you, Madam Chair. A couple things, I'll be brief. First of all, Chad, I appreciate the kudos, but really, I want to throw it back especially to the three of you and to Gina Messenger and Mary Foreman, who had the foresight to add early literacy to the last referendum resolution. And then previously, like, it really started under previous superintendents. And one thing that was always a barrier was that in Florida statute, we have to take care of K through 12 first before we devote resources to pre-K. I'm assuming that's still true. And so that was always kind of looked at as a barrier because there's always needs in K through 12, obviously. So you all adding that to the referendum was brilliant, and I think is why we saw a 12% jump in 1 year. And Chad, as you mentioned, that goes out to Sheila and her team. Dr. Robin Thompson, who retired a couple years ago with us, she kind of built this foundation for this work. And then, Chad, to your point about capacity building, I really think that we have the model in place in the Soren 4 lab, in that Steve and Carol and Ross Camp have made personal contributions to build that program. So it's really that kind of public-private partnership that is going to drive this capacity building. And there are certainly, and I talk to people about this all the time, I'm back on the board of Step Up Suncoast, too, as a very large early Head Start and Head Start presence in the county. So I kind of have conversations and about, like, how can we build more capacity, especially in Bayshore Gardens area, East Bradenton, Palmetto, where we can really, where, you have families who, it could be a couple of factors. Number one, they may not know that there's pre-K available in their neighborhood. And if they do know, they're on a waiting list or they can't find a spot. So I think we're absolutely on the right track in that public-private model. And of course, this board, the previous board, had that foresight to see this. And what an investment. And I haven't seen an updated study in a little while, but the number that I used to see was that for every $1 spent on early education, it's about an $8 or $9 save.
Return.
Yeah, exactly. Return on investment down the road. So this is just money, like, incredibly well spent. So anyway, I just wanted to kind of focus, because I really, if we can find a way to increase these partnerships and build this capacity, we're going to get to what Chad's talking about.
Right. And I see that. And you're right. Some of the people in the community may not know what services we have right there in their areas. I know we can do all kinds of pamphlets and send them out to people and like that, but in my mind, I'm like, go to where the people are. Where are they going? They're going to grocery stores. They're going to laundry facilities. They're doing all kinds of things like that. So that might be something to think about in the future, to reach those people that may not know.
Well, as you know, Dr. Halpin is very savvy
Always
and very intrepid.
creative. Yep.
She, the attendance numbers we're seeing at the Soren 4 lab right now are staggering.
Wonderful.
A lot of families are coming through. I believe she's convened like an advisory council of parents and community members who are actually in the community that the SOAR lab serves, and that they help get that word out as you were speaking to. So there's a lot of that kind of community school partnership going on around the SOAR lab and around our early learning programs, I think, that are really, again, resulting in the data and outcomes that you're seeing. Okay. So the next slide is something I'm excited about, not just because the lines are going up and to the right, but because I think in these presentations that you've indulged me for the last 3 years, we look at the data tables and you kind of see grade level by grade level, kind of where we're doing relative to last year, where we're doing relative to the state. But it really doesn't do a good job of putting the data in context and kind of the story and the roadmap that we're on as a school district. I think this is much more instructive for that purpose. And so now that we have a few years of fast testing under our belts, we can plot the data year over year, and you can actually see by grade band where we're going and how we're performing. And I think that's probably more helpful than the individual level breakdowns, which we'll see on the next slides. You'll see lots of pluses. You'll see that we're keeping track with the state up in areas and maintaining in others. But I think this really shows the long-term trajectory and the work the board and our teachers and our school leaders are doing which is really moving this district forward. And you can see up over those 4 years significantly in all those grade levels. And I think even more, something I'm most proud of is the great work happening at our secondary schools, because we obviously are seeing amazing things happen in our elementaries, but you see the secondary schools starting to close the gap that existed 4 years ago on these assessments. So again, it's not just early learning, it's kind of K through 12 excellence that we're seeing and moving forward in those areas.
Mr. Kennedy, you're still lit up.
Oh,
right
I'm
now.
sorry. Yeah, I'll take it.
Ms. Felton, you were there, then you're gone. Are you-
No, I accidentally unclicked.
That's okay.
One of the things that having taught during COVID and been in the classroom during all of that chaos and then coming out of COVID, and it was awful as a teacher, trying to help these kids get caught back up. The increase in the scores, because I was teaching in 22-23. That was my last year in the classroom. And to see those high school scores going from the 44 up to now a 56, and knowing that all of these kids had disruptions during that 2020-21 school year, where I was teaching online, in person, and hybrid. And I don't recommend ever doing that ever again. It was craziness. But anyway, to see that growth and to be able to see the impacts that the changes that the district has made. And then even if you look at the K2 and the 3-5, that early learning push starting several years ago, you can see the growth. I mean, our K2s are up 9% in 4 years. That's a wonderful piece of data to have and be able to show, and to be able to help our families see that, look, this is really important. Look at how much growth these kids are having, so that they can see that, it is worthwhile to come to public schools. We are a valid choice.
Thank you. And so the next few slides will be kind of the grade level breakdowns, and we'll flip those fairly quickly. So stop me if you would like to stop and discuss anything in particular. Here's your kind of K through 2 data, again, state versus Manatee, and Manatee includes all schools in the school district of Manatee County, including charter.
Including charter?
Including charter, yes, ma'am.
Real quick, I just want to point out, as we're looking at the comparisons from 25 to 26, we need to remember, too, that every year, the way the state scores, they raise the scores every year. So what would have been a 3 or a 3 last year or this year may have been a 2 or vice versa. And, so whatever data we're looking at, we also have to remember that they keep raising the scores. They're moving the finish line. So as our test scores get higher and our school grades get higher, they are working with a scoring system that keeps getting harder. So it's not just that, hey, they went from, an A to, or B to an A. They went from a B to an A, which means their point scale has jumped up. So they're even making even more gains than what it looks like. So I just want to point that out to the public.
And so, again, you can see very positive results in our K through 2 classrooms. For your information, this is also raw data. So this is exactly these are all the students who tested in the county, and the percent proficiency that you see across all the students who tested in the county. When it comes to, especially what Ms. Felton was just referencing, and we're calculating school grades and district grades, there's, criteria as to which students are counted as part of a school grade, which students are counted as part of the district grade. This isn't filtered to any of this. This is the raw assessment data that came out of our testing window for this year.
Right.
Here's your 3 through 5. Again, positive results, especially in 3rd grade. 5th grade is really exciting to see. But again, continuing to move the needle. We'll have our highest 3rd grade reading achievement ever this year.
Yes.
And actually, just kind of across the board and across our district, we'll see the highest achievement in our district's history this year, in all dimensions, essentially. Then here's your middle school performance. Again, really strong results out of middle school. I think last year we saw a little bit of a kind of a little stagnation in a lot of our grade levels, and I think our schools put the pedal to the metal this year. And again, seeing positive results, keeping up with the state, exceeding the state in areas. And again, 9th and 10th grade, again, making very positive strides. Okay. So that brings us to the end of our ELA fast results. This next chart isn't as clean because you're comparing EOC performance to FAST performance and all kinds of other things, but I'll walk you through it. You see K through 2, obviously big improvements in that over the last 4 years.
Yeah.
And improvements in most areas. You have our 3 through 5 scores, our 6 through 8 scores, which we're seeing over the last 2 years a significant improvement in. And then algebra and geometry, a little bit of a dip this year. You can blame me for that one. What we did this year is we actually changed our math progression a little bit. We had more students testing in algebra and geometry this year.
Right.
And so there was a larger number of students who tested, including students who'd previously not been proficient. And so that's where you see a little bit of suppression of that number. So it's not that our teachers and students didn't do an amazing job this year. They actually, I think when you look at their scores, did exceptionally well. It has to do with what we did to the progression this year, which was a 1-year change.
I just want to comment on the kindergarten through second, from 44 to 68. I mean, that's huge.
Absolutely.
That's a huge improvement from where we were. And it all goes back to putting those dollars and those resources in them and focusing on that pre-K and K through 2 level. And then the gains from in third, you know, that just goes back again. It starts at the beginning and it's a reverse snowball, be honest, because you started down here, but the farther up you go, it's getting better and better. So I'm real proud of that number. And I can just see what that's going to do in the next 2 or 3 years, because those kids are going to be tested in third grade. I can't wait to see what that outcomes are going to look like.
Absolutely.
Yep. Okay. Anyone else?
So here's your K through 2 data. Again, you see really positive results compared with the state
Yep.
and our mathematics data. Wow. Especially in our early learners. You see, again, positive results, 3 through 5, keeping up with the state, exceeding in some areas.
Awesome.
Here's your 6 through 8 data. Again, positive results keeping up with the state or improving at a faster rate. And again, math is a little bit messy, right? Because when you are thinking about like elementary, for instance, you have some elementary school students who are taking the 6th grade exam. And so they're showing up here in this 6 through 8 group, not in the 3 through 5 group.
Right.
And so the edges are a little blurrier with the math data than with the ELA data, just because of the accelerated math progressions that take place where students are taking algebra and geometry in middle school even now, right?
And I think that's great, that we can be able to cross some students over to another grade level because of their ability to go that step higher in their academics. So the math might look a little fuzzy whenever you're trying to figure out what is what. If you have a student down at the 3rd grade taking 5th grade math, that to me is wonderful. That's just going to accelerate that student farther down as we go through they go through their career with us. So,
Absolutely.
yeah, I don't mind that being a little fuzzy because you got to understand the different levels of kids and where they're at, and that's in all of the academics really. So,
Madam Chair, if I may.
yes,
I just want to build on that point, where you were heading, or where you are.
yeah,
Mr. Jensen, with the change in the progression with math, especially with algebra and geometry, the fell off a tiny bit, but and this is my feeling about it, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but like the payoff we'll see a year from now, 2 years from now, down the road, we'll see that was the reason for the change in progression.
Well, as you know,
And acceleration
part
points,
of
of
over the last many years, we've been working on those acceleration pathways, right?
Yeah.
There was also a change this year where we had high schools testing their algebra and geometry students, or them taking algebra and geometry a little bit earlier, so they weren't delaying it as long in their high school careers. And so that caused more students to test kind of on the opposite end. So you have students testing in algebra geometry as early as 6th and 7th grade, right? And then we had students testing much later in their high school careers, kind of narrowed that band in high school a little bit, but it caused more students kind of on that late band to test this year as well. So we continue to support those accelerated pathways, which are seeing those like highly proficient students testing in 7th and 8th grade, which also, affects high schools because that changes how the high school data looks, right? Because those students are no longer taking algebra and geometry in high school. But then on the high school end, we did ask school administrators to schedule more students into algebra and geometry this year than they had in previous years.
Okay. Be interesting to see how it turns out. Yeah.
It is fascinating. Hang on, is that
And-
still you, Mr. Kennedy lit up? Yeah,
Oh, sorry.
that's all right.
Got it.
And that's where you see
Keep an eye on you.
I'm sorry,
Good.
the impact of this change to the progression, which we anticipate is just a 1-year change
Gotcha.
in the data. Again, math's been kind of dynamic over the last few years. Remember, I've brought you presentations where it was hard to compare to the previous year's data because of changes in progression or where we're testing certain students. That moves us on to science. I was a science teacher, so seeing our science data go up and to the right is really exciting. And
Oh
I
my
think,
goodness, look at that.
we've seen a lot of growth in our science performance over the last 4 years. And I think one thing to note, especially, one is the, we're continuing to see gains in all areas, but the the 5th grade science performance, we had a huge improvement in this past year. So kudos to our teachers and schools and students for prioritizing science and hands-on exploration in those classes. Again, I think it speaks to a lot of the investments the board has been making in our classrooms and supporting our teachers with students accessing more hands-on science as part of their learning. And so all this can fit on one slide because we assess science in three areas. You have your 5th grade, your 8th grade, and your biology. Again, biology is a little misleading because just like we did in math, we tested more students in biology. We had more students taking it a little bit earlier in their high school progression. So the fact that our schools were able to maintain their level of performance essentially while increasing the number of students accessing biology in high school for 1 year was pretty notable, actually. But I really want to call attention to that 5th grade performance, which I think was really wonderful. We had schools that made 20% increases in 5th grade math performance, or I'm sorry, 5th grade science performance.
Wow,
Awesome.
it's awesome. Yeah. Wow.
Finally, social studies. Again, I think this is a really exciting graph as well, just seeing that really powerful up and to the right trend, especially with some of our U.S. history results really moving up significantly from that 22-23 school year to where we are now.
That, when you look at those numbers, Mr. Tatum, maybe some of your messages has gotten all the way down to the classroom.
Maybe. That's hopeful.
Yeah.
We're very excited about how we perform in civics and history and how we're continuing to either exceed state averages or close the gap with the state. So we're excited about what we're doing in these areas, and like I said, there's a lot to celebrate in the school district of Manatee County this year based on how our schools performed and how our students and teachers performed. So the last slide we have, before I flip to it, I'm going to give some caveats. What Evan and his magic team of data wizards do is they can take all of this and then they can run simulations based on how the state looks at data, and they can project school grades for us. And he's very accurate, but there's always a margin of error because of FAA results that aren't incorporated yet, based on a student here or there that are excluded or part of the lower quartile that aren't captured in our simulation. So there's always a little bit of wiggle room, but we get pretty close. And so we thought, obviously our schools have performed so well this year. We wanted to share some of the celebrations we anticipate being able to share when the state finally does release school grades here in a month or so. And so just some projected school celebrations. I believe we had some communication out about this at the end of this prior week. I think obviously Samoset
Yes.
did some incredible work this year.
Yeah.
They were, as you can see on the table on the right side, they were, as far as our district-run sites, they were our only D school this year. And not only did they get out of state turnaround by improving past the D, we anticipate them moving all the way to an A grade,
That's
which is just
awesome.
incredible. And kudos to that whole staff that has worked incredibly hard under the leadership of Sam Webb there. Just an amazing effort.
Two schools.
Yeah, just goes there.
Yeah.
Right, exactly.
Cable and-
And then you see, the schools on this list are very exciting for me. You have Miller, you have Mayaca, both improving to A's potentially. Canaan doing the same. Braden River Middle School, which I know they've been putting in an incredible amount of work. We anticipate them moving to an A. And then school grade improvements at Bashaw, at Lincoln Middle School, moving up to a B,
B.
Which we're thrilled about. Moody, Palmview, and Seabreeze, all of which are exciting and really, I think, contribute to what you see on the right side, which is, last year you saw a solid number of A schools, and with the charters included last year, I think the greatest number of A schools we ever had as a district, or at least in the kind of the modern accountability area. And then a large number of C schools. Now look at where we're at this year, or
Yeah.
where we're projected to be at this year, really just elevating the number of A and B schools we have in our school district, no DRF rated schools, and the I is Manatee Virtual School, if you're wondering.
I'm going to go ahead and jump in here real quick.
Go ahead. I was looking at the chart.
When I was teaching middle school, I was a Harley. The last 3 years, it was still a school. In our final year, we went from an F to a C in 1 year. I know, personal experience, how hard it is to go from a low-performing school to a high-performing school. And that was from an F to a C. They went from a D to an A at Samoset. And I literally cried when I saw this because I remember the struggle as a teacher, how hard my students worked. And oh my God, they worked their butts off. How hard they worked to bring up their grades, their reading scores. And I was the only 7th grade English teacher, so I was entirely responsible for 7th grade's reading scores. Just the pressure you feel as a teacher, the way the students felt, it is overwhelming. As a teacher, as a school staff, as the young people in the school, and to see this and to know how hard they worked. I can't, if you haven't done it yourself, I don't know how to explain it. But it is overwhelming, that pressure. And to see how incredible Sam Webb and her crew have done. And I've been there this year and I visited this year, and to see the joy that the kids are working in, and so they're making it so easy for the kids to not feel that pressure. And the staff has done a phenomenal job just to go in and out of the classrooms this year while they were working on this score, and to see how much fun the students were having as they were improving their scores. It was a beautiful experience for me to be able to visit Samoset this year and to see this, which is why it hit me so emotionally when I saw this projection from a D to an A. I can't get over it. It's just so amazing to me, and I am so desperately proud of all of them that they were able to accomplish this. And, and again, like I said, the scoring scale moves every year. So, what was an A last year is a B this year. You could be right on the cusp of, okay, we're going to be an A, and then the scoring scale moves for the next year, and you're like, oh, dang it, we're still stuck at a B. So to know that they can make this is just so incredible, and I can't praise them enough on that. It just moved me so much.
Thank
Okay.
you. Okay. My last slide is simply what the next steps are. We're in summer, so the state is crunching all of their data. They release kind of the formal assessment results to districts by June 30th, and then shortly thereafter, school and district grades are released. And obviously, we'll share those with you and the community as they become available. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you so much.
Excellent report.
Yeah, it's excellent work. It's one of those reports, you just can't wait to see it. And now I'm glad that you're able to put that out there. And Mr. Tatum lit up.
Good job.
Thank you very much. I'm very proud of our schools and students.
Good.
Same.
I just have one question, and that is to confirm the ages that students or children are eligible for VPK. You have to be 4 years old unless you are an ESE student, and then it's 3. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Do I understand that correctly? That's all I wanted to know.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. That's it.
Okay, board members, we have Ms. Felton's presentation. Maybe we can get through that before we recess, you think?
Oh, yeah, this should be short and sweet.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure. I don't want to cut you short, but I wanted
Yep,
to.
no, we'll make
yeah.
it short and sweet. You have in front of you a memorandum to the Board of County Commissioners from the Children's Services Coordinator regarding the Children's Services Advisory Board's recommendations for funding for the coming fiscal year. As you know, I am the district representative on that board. We're supposed to have 13 members. We currently have 11. Anybody out there who's interested in serving, we have a vacancy for a children's advocate and a physician. So if you're on the edge of retirement and as a physician and you still want to stay involved, we would love to have you. So that's my little plug there. One of the things that I wanted to make sure that you saw this because these programs impact our schools. A lot of them come into our schools, they work with our kids, or they're programs that our kids go out to after school or during the summer. And so this has a really huge impact on our children, particularly our children in financial struggles or emotional struggles. There's a lot of really, really great things in here. We had 73 applications of grants this year. Grant season starts in February. We begin in February reading every week. We meet, we discuss 7 or 8 grants a week, and we read them and score them, and believe me, it takes hours, but I am happy to do it. I love this. I love being on this board. So we got through all of them, and then we have, and of course it's graduation week every year. So on Monday and Wednesday of graduation week, I go from CSAB straight to the field to walk in graduation because we're breaking down what funding we're going to approve. So I wanted you to have a layout of, on the third page, it shows you, it's the start of the list of programs that we have funded or approved funding for. So what happens next is this has been sent to the County Commission. They will probably in the next few days, because they're working on budgets right now, determine whether or not they are going to agree with the board and fund the programs that we've requested they fund. There are programs that we recommended to not fund. The county commission can still fund them if they would like. We don't make that determination at the CSAB. We just make recommendations. The ones, again, sorry, I'm really speaking fast, but I'm trying to be cognizant of time. The ones that we did not fund, there were 8 programs that were not recommended for investment. The rationale is provided, that's on page 2 and 3 of the memo. There's a list of them, along with the reasons why we recommended to not fund those programs. All of our meetings are recorded if anybody ever wants to go back and look at them, and they're public record. And they're live streamed as well. So if anybody ever wants to go back and look at them, you're welcome to do so. But on the screen, you can see these are the programs that we have recommended investing. Everything from Manatee Children's Services, Pace Center for Girls, Centerstone, Step Up Suncoast, Salvation Army, Big Brothers Big Sisters, Centerstone, Feeding Empty Little Tummies. I know Mr. Tatum is part of that program. I thought of you when we were reading that one. I'm like, ooh, Mr. Tatum does this. Take Stock, Family Resources, YMCA, Just for Girls, Safe Children. I mean, there are so many things that we had. These are all of the ones that we received grants for, all of them. All right, and so you can see what it is that we were looking at. The ones with a space in the final column, recommended amount, if there's a dash, those are the ones we did not recommend funding. And again, the explanations for that are going to be on the memo as to why that was. So I just wanted to put that out there to the board so you know what what the CSAB is doing to help our kiddos. And remember, this is the Children's Millage Fund. It comes through our county taxes. And this funding is set aside for programs that impact Manatee County children only up to age 18. So it could be infants all the way up to high school students. And we have an extremely strenuous application system. It is probably the most strenuous one for any grant in the county. Other boards use us as an example. So there's a lot that goes into this. The application is very long. So we do take this extremely seriously. We want to make sure that our county funding is being used fiscally responsibly. And of course, if anybody ever has any questions, all of this again is public record. You're welcome to contact me or any of the other CSAB board members. I'll be happy to talk to anybody about it who has questions. But I just wanted to make sure that this was available. And then I also need to point out that this can be impacted with tax cuts, how much money we're able to give. If you have looked at the third page of the memo, it states the total amount of funds requested. So grand total of money requested was $23,346,830. The CSAB has recommended funding of $20,486,602 for programs serving children in Manatee County. So I just wanted to let you know how much money we're talking about here that we're working with.
My question,
Yeah, okay, go ahead.
does the county give you a dollar amount and then you decide how to spread it? Is that correct?
Yeah, there is a pot
Right.
that we're allowed to come through, and then all of the amount that we fund is what their request. We go based on their request. So like, let's see, if you look at the very first one on the chart, the second one, Children Advocacy Center for Manatee Children's Services, they requested $1,266,981, and we recommended funding that full amount.
But some are not, yeah.
But some are not. Some have requested a higher amount, but based on outcomes and their data, we did not give them the requested amount. We gave them the level funding of what they had received the previous year. Some we chose not to fund because there was no return on investment shown. Again, lots go into it.
Oh, I can't.
Any other questions from the board?
I do have and you may not know this answer, but
Yeah.
the Children's Services dedicated millage
Mm-hmm.
is obviously, it says where the money comes from.
Yes.
Is that something that is voted on from the like an extra millage that our county decided, hey, let's do this? Is it just part of their overall millage that they charge, just in general? Like, I don't know, is it broken out differently than that?
If you
It-
look at your
okay.
tax bill, you will see the children's millage
Gotcha.
as part of your tax bill. It is a line item on
Gotcha.
there.
Okay.
Right, that was it for me.
Okay. I don't see any other members lit up to speak. Superintendent, you have anything?
No, ma'am.
Okay. You think we have time to go on to the consent? Let's go ahead and go on through to the consent. So we are on item number 10 of our agenda, consent items for the agenda. Superintendent?
Yes, ma'am. The superintendent recommends approval of the consent agenda for the school board meeting, June 9, 2026.
So moved.
Second?
We have a motion by Mr. Kennedy, a second by Mr. Choate. You can vote on that item for me. And there you go. And that item passes 5-0. Thank you very much for that, board. Takes us down to number 11, and I don't believe there's anything there. Item number 12, there was nothing pulled. Item 13, new business, non-consent, superintendent. We're just going to move along here if we can because of this break.
Sure.
Is that all right? All right.
The superintendent recommends approval of the budget amendments for April 2026.
So moved.
I'll second.
I have a motion by Mr. Kennedy, the second from Ms. Felton. Do you want to expand on that, Ms. Sellers?
Yes, Madam Chair and board members, for the month of April, the district had 641 budget amendments affected by 4,067 chart strings. Out of that, 18 were over 1 million. These were both in the debt service fund and the capital fund as a result of the closing of that certificates of participation 2026 A and B. But that closing on Monday, April 6th, we are recording the budget transactions related to both the issuance and the refunding of the COPS 2016. And also in the capital fund, there was a recognition of impact fee revenue as well.
Okay. Thank you very much for that. So we have a motion and a second on that item. Thank you, Ms. Sellers, by the way. And that passes 5-0. 13.2, approval to advertise intent to code of conduct and to set a public hearing for proposed changes at the board meeting scheduled for July 21st, 2026. Superintendent.
The superintendent recommends approval of advertising a notice of intent to amend the Code of Student Conduct and to set a public hearing on the proposed changes at the board meeting scheduled for July 21, 2026.
So moved.
I will second.
Whichever one you want.
Take it.
Okay.
So we have a motion by Mr. Kennedy, a second by Ms. Felton. And I think we have a speaker to speak. Mr. Kennedy, I'm guessing it's you.
Yeah, just a real quick thank you. I appreciate the administration being responsible to the board and gathering feedback from our administrators, our school principals who actually have to enforce these rules.
Right.
And we had an interesting conversation as a board. It was even more interesting to read that feedback from our principals, which frankly differs from the board. I just want to say thank you because that really helps me inform my decision making, and it really kind of turned me the other way in that debate. So thank you to the principals and everybody who made their feedback known. So thank you, Madam Chair.
And that feedback was very valuable.
It was.
So, we're not in the classrooms.
Right.
You know, we're not having to be the hall monitors, so to speak. So we appreciate that we sent that out to get feedback. Okay, so we have a motion on that and a second. And that will pass 5-0 as well. Item number 13.3.
The superintendent recommends the approval to advertise a notice of intent to amend the student progression plan and set a public hearing on the proposed amendments at the board meeting scheduled for July 21, 2026.
So move.
Second.
A motion by Mr. Choate, the second by Mr. Kennedy. Any discussion on this, board? Okay. I have no one lit up, and we are ready to vote. And that passes 5-0. Item number 13.4. Superintendent.
The superintendent recommends approval of the academic calendar for the school year 2027-2028.
So move.
Second.
We have a motion by Mr. Choate, the second by Mr. Kennedy.
Yeah, Chad, can you get that?
And obviously, we
motion,
looked
yeah.
at all of these through our briefings. There's a lot of feedback on that as well. So I want to thank the district for everything they did on that calendar and the feedback we got from.
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah, it was really good, so, okay. So the motion and the second. There you are.
Madam Chair, are we just going to power through and finish this thing?
We're
before
going
we
to
go?
try. I'm really trying.
I mean, I like
I'm,
it. It's-
I'm watching that clock.
I like your style. Okay.
Thank you. Watching that clock. Okay, we are on to agenda item 14. Oh, I'm hitting yes here. I'm sorry. This isn't clearing, Miss Cox. It's frozen on my screen as the vote for the last item, 13.4. So, okay, so we're on to item 14.1. And I will turn that over to Mr. Kennedy to,
Sure. Yeah, as the liaison to the CFAC, I'll be glad to introduce these next two items. Mrs. Mentzer has been on the CFAC. She was originally on the audit committee, and now she's a CFAC member. This is, I believe, her first renewal. Her first 3-year term is coming up, and she did commit at the last meeting. She said she's happy to be reappointed. She did express some reservation about being able to complete all 3 years,
okay.
which is totally understandable. But she did accept the renomination to be a member. So I just wanted to share. She was very upfront with everybody and transparent, and so I just wanted to share that with the board. So I really appreciate Ginger's service to the CFAC. She's been a very active. She asks a lot of questions. She's been an excellent member, and I'm glad she's coming back. Hopefully, we get to keep her for the whole 3 years, but we'll see. Life comes at you fast.
She's a valued member of that
She
committee.
definitely is.
I motion that we approve her.
Okay.
Send.
I'll second.
A motion by Mr. Choate and a second by Mr. Kennedy.
But it looks like Granicus is
It is frozen, so we'll do
Just voice
hand
vote,
vote
yeah.
for everyone, please, if you don't mind, and Ms.
Aye.
Coxkin. And that will pass 5-0. And I will defer the item number 14 to you as well.
Yeah, same. Susan Harrigan, everybody knows Susan. And we appreciate her many, many years of service to the district. She, along with Dr. Breslin, was a inaugural, is that the right term? Founding member of the Citizens Financial Oversight Committee, back when Dr. Breslin and Susan Harrigan were 2 of 21 members
Right.
of that oversight committee. And so when the CFOC and the audit committee joined together last year, Mrs. Harrigan was willing to continue on, and she's willing to continue on for another term. And we're just glad she's deeply embedded in this community. She's deeply embedded in this school district, and is again a valued member of the CFAC.
And she has a lot of historical data, and she brings that with her. So it's another valuable
So-
member of that committee.
If I may, I'll make this motion, Chad.
Go ahead.
Okay. Motion to approve,
Trying to
Mrs.
get it
Harrigan.
done by 11:15.
You got it.
I will
You got it.
second.
We have a motion by Mr. Kennedy, a second by Ms. Felton. We are still frozen on the screen, so it will be a show of raised hands.
Aye.
That will pass 5-0. Item number 14.3 is approval for the board and the superintendent to go to the FSBA in Tampa. It's kind of late on our agenda, but it's all good. So I'm looking for a motion
So
to
moved.
approve.
I will second.
A motion by Mr. Choate.
I will vote
a
yes.
Second by Ms. Felton, and a show of hands of vote, and that passes 5-0. Safe travels, and we'll bring back some information from that, I'm sure. I don't have any public comments signed up. Items 16, 1 through 4 are basically information only. There's no action required for those. I will go briefly to updates if you like. Instructional update gave us pretty much a
I believe my
detail.
update was captured in my previous presentation.
So you're going to yield your time. Okay, operations. Go ahead, Ms.
Yeah, for
Superintendent.
operations, Mr. Clark is out this week, so we will give back that time to the board. We'll be back on June 23rd with the 5-year capital plan.
Wonderful. Awesome. Legal.
I'd just remind the board, I'm acting as the general counsel interim. Everything's going smooth. No other further report.
Thank you, sir. Superintendent.
Yes, ma'am. In the interest of time, I will be very quick. We do have FADS and FSBA this week, so I look forward to that time, meeting and greeting with others throughout the state. I'm excited about the City Park ribbon cutting, groundbreaking today. I'm looking forward to just another opportunity to partner with our community, and that brings me to the VFW. I appreciate the gentlemen that were here earlier, not only for being here with us today, but for what they contribute continuously to our schools and our students. We are very blessed to be in this community. SOAR had an event at the Bishop last Wednesday. Lion way down the street to enter and take part in those literacy activities. The SOAR Lab averaging about 174 students a day coming in over the summer to participate in those learning activities. The momentum is strong here in Manatee. Thank you, Board.
Thank you, Superintendent. Board comments. Anybody want to yield? Okay, Ms. Felton.
Super, super short. I am visiting summer programs this summer. I'm having a great time visiting the ones I've gone to. Our district summer programs are phenomenal, and I'm done.
Wonderful. Tatum, I'm just jumping.
Back in the day,
Okay.
I'll reserve it for next time.
Okay.
I'll just say thank you. We obviously saw the data. Thank you to our teachers and faculty and everybody who does the day-to-day job in the schools. You guys are the reason why we're doing great. So thank you very much.
Mr. Kennedy.
I couldn't have said it better myself. And
Okay,
I
well, I will
yield
s-
to the chair.
What I will say is to the board members for board comment, take your notes now, and we'll expand it a little bit on at our next meeting. I want to say thank you to everybody for blowing right through this agenda. I was hoping it would end up this way, and it did. So I will say we are now adjourned at 11:14.
Minutes.